today's World Insight, Mozambique is a quintessential success story of the Belt and Road Initiative. We speak to the Mozambican Prime Minister to see how the BRI has unlocked this African nation's energy, agricultural, and logistical potential.
That is not a problem. It's not a real problem. And also the problem is sometimes is you should borrow money for something that will generate and generate capacity to repay.
Hello and welcome to World Insight with me, Tian Wei. The third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation wrapped up last week. Looking back at what has been achieved, BRI partner countries are already drawing up plans for the future cooperation, among them Mozambique. Since the BRI's inception in 2013, China and Mozambique have cooperated in constructing infrastructure projects like Maputo-Katembe Bridge and also the new Maputo International Airport. With the backdrop of traditional friendship, China and Mozambique are also moving toward new high-quality cooperation. I talked to Prime Minister Adriano Maleiane right after the meeting he had with the Chinese president in Beijing. Let's take a look at this conversation. Mr. Prime Minister, what a pleasure to see you.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Wei, for having me here.
I know you just had a wonderful meeting with the Chinese President Xi Jinping, and I know you have a lot of fresh takeaways to share with us right now.
Well, of course, the meeting was excellent. We summarized what we are doing. First, to see where we stand in terms of implementation, project implementation, and the project in the context of this Belt and Road Initiative. And that, in that respect, it was very important, productive one, and we have a way forward.
And this time, of course, with the conclusion of the Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation, emphasis is on high quality. So how is that reflected in the conversation you had with the Chinese president?
When we talk about high quality, for example, it means a lot of things. One, for example, is the type of cooperation that we have. So if I have to rate that type of cooperation we have, I rate excellent. And then the other thing is that the result is good for the people we are serving, and the answer would be is yes, of course. So the discussion was about this, how we are implementing a program, how cooperation is done, and where we move for, where we want to be within 10 years or more. Right. So that type of the quality of discussion was so excellent.
What about the implementation? I mean, of course, it's important to have grand goals, but implementation out of a lot of uncertainties going on in the world. So how much challenge and opportunity do you see in that for your country, for example?
Of course, implementation is always very difficult sometimes. But taking into account the type of project we design and the support we are receiving, I think the implementation so far is in accordance with what we decide. So of course we have some constraint. You may know that in the north part of Mozambique, facing some terrorist attack since 2017. But with the support from our friends, namely from South Africa and also Rwanda, and of course with the humanitarian support coming from our brothers Chinese. Things are now, peace is holding, and we hope that that will facilitate or smooth the implementation of the project.
What are some of the biggest wonderful news you can share with us in terms of implementation? What do you see can be the significance of this implementation for your people?
For example, in health, we see a lot of medical teams coming from, from this country to Mozambique, and then we've been benefiting for this support for a long time. So this is a concrete action that people can see because they are receiving that treatment.
Have you met with some of these medical workers coming
yes.
from this country?
Oh yes, oh yes.
Did you talk to them? What was it like?
Personally, not, but of course, the Minister of Health and other people, they're talking about the good doctor from China, so it is visible, the implementation, and so that this is just to mention some, a few of them. In education, for example, so agriculture, we have a big project. It's not too big, but it's not small. But the impact of that project is very important. I'm talking about agriculture in the Gaza province. So these are some of the examples that people benefiting.
Are the local farmers happy about that?
Of course.
Yeah. What does that mean to them, for example? To their family, for example, or to their harvest, to their kids, if they could have more abundant harvest?
You know, before that project, it was very difficult for family to have any income. Yeah. But now they have income, but at the same time, they are benefiting for technicians coming from experts. So for example, the rice yield is now improving. Yes. And this is good for them because they can increase their incomes.
And agriculture could even become, in the future, an export commodities coming from your country.
Yes, in certain moment, in certain case, agriculture for us, we have two types of crops. One is cash crop. Maize, we have surplus, so we can export, and other crops. So the objective is to make sure that people understand that working in agriculture or agriculture is not a place for suffering. It's a place to generate income, and income that will help their family and reduce poverty, of course.
That's a beautiful way you put it. It should not be a source of suffering, but should be a source of happiness.
You know, yeah, because in some part, people, they associate agriculture with suffering. But I understand because why people they behave like that. Because during this settled time, people were forced to grow cotton, for example. But cotton is not for consumption. So going and growing cotton to sell, for them that was suffering. Because they would like to grow maize, rice, cassava, all these things to make sure that they benefit. So our challenge is to change that mindset that agriculture is a place for happiness. It's a place that you can do, even for your young people. The youth, they used to say that, no, I want to go for industry because agriculture is for old men. If you are aging, you go to agriculture. But that is not the way.
So now new technologies actually could change the mindset and the young people feeling cool doing agricultural jobs.
Yes, and this is why we are saying that these the technique coming from and technicians also coming from this country, they are helping us to change that idea about agriculture.
So how do you see these kinds of South-South cooperation, as we say, among developing nations to be speaking with the same voice and taking great examples among ourselves and share it? What do you see the strength of this?
Well, I was impressed by the result of the summit that took place in Cuba for G77 plus China. I think that was very important to find a solution for global problems. And there's no way rather than coming together and trying to find a solution, how to find it, how to mitigate, how to overcome the problems. So, yes, I think that was the
right way to go.
The right way to go.
To speak with concerted voice.
Yes.
We understand on the climate change issue, which is having such an impact on developing countries. For example, in Africa, your country, there were earlier promises of funds from the developed economies due to the historical reasons. And yet we don't see that being realized. So with the upcoming climate summit, COP28, and many other events related to this, how do you see developing countries can be more speaking with concerted voices and be able to make constructive suggestions of actions in order to make things happen?
No, I think that next COP28 will be, successful, because during this time we witnessed some very extreme events, negative events in places that were not supposed to have that.
Climate change events.
Yes, so the knowledge of the problem is being now spread in good sense, meaning that we will have our mind open to find the solution. For example, you're talking about funding. All the time when we meet, there's promises. But now I think that the promise will change for concrete actions to make sure that, in fact, we would do something very substantial, because climate change is real. It's not fiction, it's real. So we have to do our best. And I think the awareness is high. So I'm positive. I don't want to be wrong, but I think that the next will be different because of this sad event that happened in the climate change. For example, for my country, we in the region, we are the most affected in terms of climate change. So we have no reason to not to set up something concrete on this. So we are championing the team to make sure that at least in our region, this issue of climate change is well there.
Well, at the same time, your continent is such a rich continent in terms of raw materials to produce the best options human beings have. Whether it's for batteries or it is for electronic vehicles. I mean, how do you, reconcile, on the one hand, these are the countries worst affected by climate change because of its lack of ability yet to deal with it. But on the other hand, these are the countries, that are contributing to the world's fight against climate change as a whole.
You see, for example, we in Mozambique, we understand that the impact of climate change is a consequence of something. One of those things is if we are deforestation, for example.
Deforestation, yes,
in our country, we have to overcome that problem. So what we do, I think that the best way is what we are trying to do, for example, in mineral resource. The outcome of that, we have to assign a part of this, or take part of gas production.
I see your country has been working with partners around the world, for example, on energy industry. And now you're having more options with some of the developing economies also participating. Yeah. So how much will that provide you in terms of space, for your own country, for your own people, to enjoy the best benefits out of cooperation with others?
Yeah, for example, taking the example of mineral resource. Now, because of gas, our GDP in 10 years to come will be 2 times the existing GDP. And that will create space to set up a sovereign fund. And that sovereign fund will finance, for example, infrastructures and social infrastructure like education, health. And this is a way that we think that it is the best way to transform and also to give this opportunity for the existing generation can benefit, and the future also can benefit for this. As you say, it's very difficult to balance a balanced approach, but we think that the only way at this moment is to, for example, solve this problem of energy using for example, gas. We want to become a hub in the region in terms of energy. We can produce, we have all capacity to produce all energy, and also hydro, which is we are exporting to South Africa and Zimbabwe, and we think that we will perform that role in the year to come also.
More options of cooperation could also provide you with the opportunity for capacity building, isn't
yes,
it?
Definitely.
How is that taking place right now, not just in the energy sector, but also in other places?
In different ways. For example, China is training engineers here for that area. This is one opportunity to benefit our society. So there's a different variety of options, but I think that this is so important that this.
The other thing is what many have been talking about in terms of development. They describe African countries are in quote-unquote debt trap, even though most of the African countries actually were not having that problem. So how would you see talks like this, for example, in the media, in the discussions, and where does all these discussions drive you to? Is it really to the solution, or is it more about rhetorics?
Well, you see, it's very difficult to answer. But what I can, based on my experience, I think that there are a lot of things to be said on this debt trap issue. I don't think that, in fact, we have big problem in borrowing money. We cannot be in a situation that you borrow and be solved because of that you are getting. For example, in case of Mozambique, we see that according to our capacity, we cannot borrow money at the commercial terms. So we have to find money, cheaper money, meaning that concessional term, meaning that 0.70 something interest rate, and then a grace period of, let's say, 10 years, and payment for 30 years. So that money will not come from commercial bank. So the other option is to open your country for foreign debt investors. So FDI is a solution because you invite investors and they invest, they run their own risk, and you get, job for your population, and you're not increasing your debt. We have, for example, debt, current account debt is about 4 billion on average. And how we finance this? Almost 3.5 billion US dollar is FDI. So other 0.5 is some loan, commercial loan, which is very few. So this is why we have all these things stable so far, and that is not a real problem. It's not a real problem. And also the problem is sometimes is you should borrow money for something that will generate and generate capacity to repay. But if you borrow money for consumption, you're looking for trouble. But if you invest for infrastructure, for example, the corridors, all these things that you can use mechanism to
create
repay
more opportunities.
Yes. So that is not a problem. No. So you avoid this type of borrowing and borrowing and sorrow about what you're doing. So the solution is, if you want to borrow money, do it for investing, not for consumption, because consuming is just normal, and now you will come with these problems of debt trap.
My last question is about China, Mozambique. Mr. Prime Minister, how do you see the current stage of development? What can be expected between the two countries and beyond?
Yeah, but before, let me tell you that our relation and cooperation with China and Mozambique is excellent. For me, my definition of excellence is we are cooperating in an area that match the need of our society. For example, we define a 20 years program, and we said we need to invest in infrastructure. For example, roads, bridges, and so on. And then we came to China and say, okay, we need support, your support to do this. And they say, well, this is fine, because also in this Belt and Road initiative, infrastructure like bridges, roads, that is part of the initiative, meaning that if you match this, the will of Mozambique and the objective of initiative, you merge and become one. So this is excellent, because we are not trying, or the Chinese side, they're not trying to sell the project for Mozambique. They're financing what we define as priority.
Mr. Prime Minister, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That's my conversation with Prime Minister from Mozambique. And that's all the time we have for today. If you'd like to know more, search World Insight. Check out our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. I'm Tian Wei. On behalf of the team, thanks for being with us. Bye for now.